in defense budget, which on an annual basis will be transferred to NNSA, the desire was to emphasize the partnership between our two organizations. As the Secretary said, they are very important to meeting our nuclear needs.
Excellent. Thank you both, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Ms. Bordallo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, and Admiral Mullen. Thank you for appearing today and providing us with your testimony as well as your service. First, I just have one simple question. I guess it would be an up and down answer. I want to thank you for your support of H.R. 44, the Guam War Claims Bill that was introduced last Congress. This proposed legislation is very important to the Chamorros on Guam who survived the brutal enemy occupation during World War II. Although we were unsuccessful last Congress in the Senate, I have reintroduced the compromise version of H.R. 44, which eliminates the payment of claims to descendants of those that suffered personal injury during the occupation. Now, can we expect the same level of support from the Department of Defense as we did in the 111th Congress? The people of Guam, Mr. Secretary, are being asked to provide additional land for firing ranges and the main base area for the current buildup. And resolution of Guam war claims is going to be critical to overcoming historical injustices.
Well, as Deputy Secretary Lynn testified, we continue to support the Department of Justice position on this.
So I guess the answer would be yes. My second question, I'm encouraged to see the administration continuing to support the so-called Guam International Agreement with military construction funding for the realignment of the Marines from Okinawa to Guam. I'm also encouraged by the funding of civilian infrastructure needs on Guam. My question is for Secretary Gates. Given the strategic importance of Guam and our nation's ongoing efforts to reshape our military presence in the Pacific Theater, can you tell me what the status is of the Department of Defense's roadmap for realigning U.S. forces in Japan? Specifically, how is the reconfiguration of Camp Schwab facilities and the adjacent water surface areas to accommodate the Futenma Replacement Facility project proceeding? And when can we expect to see tangible progress on Okinawa for a Futenma Replacement Facility?
My hope is that, well, first of all, I discussed this when I was in Japan just a few weeks ago. I feel like the Japanese government is making a serious effort to resolve the Futenma issue. My hope is that we will get resolution, particularly on the configuration of the airfield or the runways, perhaps later this spring. And that would then allow us to go forward with our planning. Until we get the Futenma Replacement Facility issues settled, we really are not in a position to go forward. Without resolution of that issue, troops don't leave Okinawa, lands don't get returned to the Japanese, to the Okinawans. So these were points that I made both publicly and privately when I was in Tokyo. And so my hope is that we will get resolution of this to a sufficient point by sometime later this spring, that we then can go forward and work with this committee in terms of that planning. And just to clarify a statement that I made to Mr. Thornberry, and I expect to be around for some months to be able to work with you on that.
Well, good. That's good. All right. My third question is for either Secretary Gates or Chairman Mullen. I was pleased to see about $200 million in research and development for a next generation bomber.